get Jonathan's explanation down so we can review it.
And don't take this for gold. This is just my best understanding of this. Like I said before, I'm not used to this style of programming.
I know, but you're closer than most of us, it seems.
Okay. So what it's doing is are you getting the recording? Whoever was
I'm recording it, yeah, Jonathan.
Okay. So basically what's going on is, I mean, we have these HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, and it's actually at the beginning. Let's see if I can pull it up. It's rendering like this right here. That's what you just get when you just run it, and then you're getting all these errors over here because it's reading through that JavaScript file that's not complete. So what basically we're doing, this code, you know, all here has to be written. It's executing this code, and it's just saying query selector all, and it's grabbing the tabs class, and that's going to return one single node. The one single node that it's returning is this node right here on line 34. It's going to grab that node. I mean, you can type it into your console and see that. So it's grabbing that node, and it's then taking that node, and he's reassigning the tabs variable, saying array from tabs, because remember, it's giving you an array-like node list. So you have to say array from to turn it into an array so we can map over it, like he was talking about, because that's not a method that's available on that array-like object that it's coming in when you do a query selector like we did. And then it's calling.
The tabs has the array of 3 elements.
Well, when you do tabs, watch this. When you go to
right here, query selector of class tabs is going to give all tab items, right?
It's going to give all the nodes that have a class of tabs, which is only one. It's
no, that whole div contains 3 whole tab elements.
That whole
and the list of tab links.
You're grabbing this right here.
Yeah.
But you're just grabbing this node right here, this whole div. I mean, you're getting all of this stuff in, but you're just for right now, you're grabbing this piece right here. What I was saying is, if you go in here, after you refresh this and you say,
if you go to your tabs.css and take off the display none, then you will be able to see that boxes there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how you're going to manipulate it later on. But I think I haven't even really looked at the CSS.
CSS, I think, is mostly pretty bare bones, actually.
The first one, line number 2, I guess.
Yeah, each one has a... Yeah, each of these tab items, they're all set at display none. So they're there, they're just invisible. Like if you change that display, it would show all 3 of them, but you're just going to individually change them as we manipulate the DOM based on the event listener, the click. So then, did y'all want me to keep going with what I was explaining, or?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. So after you grab this DOM, this DOM node, the single node, you're passing it into new tabs. Okay. So then it's passing that information, that node, into tabs here, and it's going into the constructor as element. That's just the parameter they decided to name. Okay. When it goes into element, you know, like when we did classes and extends and all that, you've got the constructor, and it's got these properties right here. This refers to the instance of tabs that we've created, the instantiation of tabs that we created down here by invoking the constructor function. So first it starts by saying this dot element equals element, and it's assigning the property value to the parameter argument that got passed in, the div with the class of tabs from down here. It's passing it in up here. Then it's setting up the property this dot links equals element query selector all tabs double underlink. So then what that's going to do, just started this.
Jonathan, I have a question here.
Yes.
This dot element equals element, and line number 44, the tabs link, it only grabs the query selector of all tabs link. It means here in the HTML, it takes from line number 36 to line number 38. Is that true?
Well, what it's doing, look, what it's doing is because you passed right here in the constructor in line 40, you passed it this div right here. So now it's already got a hold of this div. We're referencing this div. This div has all of these list items in it, including these tabs links right here, these 3 tabs links. So in the CS or in the JavaScript now, we're going to say this element that we've already selected, query selector all tabs link. So now we're grabbing these 3 right here.
So does it contain the tab item or not?
Does what contain the tab item?
The class, what is that class? Hold on. The tabs class, is it holding the tabs item or not?
The tabs class does not have a class upon it of tabs item, but it contains the divs.
Oh, okay.
That have class tabs item. Those are its children right here have the tabs item, and that's why he showed how you could change selectors with your variables. So we've already grabbed the main div, and now we're just saying, let's look in this one div and let's find all of the elements that have tabs double underlink. I say that double under, they use that on the prototype. I'm not sure if that's the way you're supposed to be calling it in the BIM, but I say double under for the 2 underscores. So your tabs double underlink. It's grabbing all 3 of those. So now we've selected all 3 of those. If you ran that through, you'd have an array-like object with those 3 nodes in it, those 3 pieces of data, okay? So then from there, it's saying this dot links equals array from, so we're just creating array from this because once again, we don't have the methods available to us on a regular array with this array-like node list that we've got, okay? So it just creates, you're going to have an array of three elements. Those 3 elements will be the references to right here, these 3 elements, the divs. And it's going to pass that into a map function. And for each element, it's passing into the map, and it's invoking tab link. And it's passing in the link, the individual node. So for each time it goes around, the first time it's going to pass this one, the second time this one, the third time this one. So the first time around, it's passing like this piece right here. So then, once it passes that in, it's passing it in link, and then this just referring to the instance of tabs that we've instantiated. Because up here you see it's asking for the element and the parent. We're passing it that single element that we saw here. And just the parent, the tabs. Remember, when you use a constructor, this will refer to when you say new tabs, that is this. So that's why they're just saying this. So you're passing it the element and the parent. And then from here, remember we have these tabs, and with that information that we've passed up, depending on the event listener and the tabs that we already have been supplied down here, and depending on where we've clicked, well, that's not here. Then it passes it to tab link, and it's going to actually, this is the code we start to have to write. But basically, we're creating code that's going to work for all of those by using this get tab, the get tab method. Down here, it's going to link. What you're going to end up having to do with your code is link this data 1, 2, 3 down here with the same attribute: data tab 1, data tab 2, data tab 3. And so if you click on this list item, if you click on this, it will show this right here. If you click on this one, it's going to show this. And if you click on this, it's going to show this. And someone remind me, where did he say we were supposed to place the event listener?
I think we have to start from the
In the
tab item.
box.
In tab
In the
item.
box that contains the tabs.
Yeah, first we have to work on the box item connected to its parent tab item. The start element.
When I did the console, it looks like it's in the section.
So start element to the object. So starting from line number 3, this dot element is the element, and you attach this dot element dot add event listener of click, and then should we call the select method?
Yeah, for select, you do this dot element dot classless dot add. And then for deselect, it'll be the opposite. For deselect, it'll be this dot element dot classless dot remove.
Remove.
Item
Okay.
selected. Because you're adding that class to it. Opposite.
So do you change that display none into something else using the HTML, I mean in CSS, or how do you make it visible?
Make what visible?
The DOM items are invisible right now, right? The box are invisible right now. Because of the CSS, it says display none.
I'm not sure what you mean. You could show me your screen and then
Tabs.css. Oh, hold on. In tabs.css, here, display none. The tabs items are. So here, these are all invisible right now. So,
because I think it starts off with nothing selected at first, and then that's when we write select for the first one. We add the class in CSS that says tab item selected. So you apply that class, and then when you remove it, it's the same thing. You use the same class. So it starts off with nothing, and then you add that class to it so it can start working.
Max, then you share your screen.
Yeah, I think you just have to substitute remove for deselect.
Yeah, so.
I think that should be at least how those ones work. Because tab item is probably just going to be this dot element equals element. Jonathan, did you have more that you were going to go? That you were going to?
I mean, all you're trying to. Hold on a second. Where is
Jonathan, I think to answer your question, it should go on the line 32 is where the listener should go into that div. Because that's where the box that contains the 3 tabs and the tab menu and everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
And they said as long as you're listening to the parent above those.
I mean, this like right here on the screen is what we're trying to do. You know, you click tab 1, this opens. Tab 2, this opens, and this just, you know, it's just whichever one is open will be here, and these other ones are hidden. And then the background color changes from the gray to the white on the selected or unselected. Through either, I think you can just toggle the classes or adding and removing the classes, whichever we want to do.
Oh yeah, Jonathan, did you want to share your code?
I didn't do anything I haven't written anything yet. I just commented out one line to get that.
Oh, okay.
This is what I have so far. If you guys want to see it. Wait, I have 2 desktops on right now. Which screen is showing? So yeah, so for the first one I have classlist.add tab item selected. And I'm not sure if these are 100% right, but I remember doing something similar like this, but I wasn't.
That's what I got too. I think I just kind of went off what Ivan did.
Yeah, but I wasn't using ES6, so this is the only reason why. But I remember using classes to remove classes and add
I
classes.
think it probably should work.
Yeah, so I have these, and then scroll down. It's sort of the same thing, except they ask for more. I'm giving like a very vague explanation, I know, but it's because I'm not 100% sure, but it's from what I remember. And same thing. This element's element, attach parent to object, make this equal parent. This is what I'm iffy about. So if anyone has anything,
Shouldn't there be a line where you're actually using the first one? Like this dot element assigning to element, because you might need that at some point.
assigning to for what line?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think you might need to do it after in the tab link somewhere or
Oh, to create a new tab item, you're saying?
I think so. I'm
yeah,
not really quite sure where it would go,
it's
but
right
I
here.
think you probably need
I added that one right here too, where it says reassign this.table.item to be a new instance of tab item. I added it right here. But the only one that I feel like it's wrong is this one.
Have you tested it yet?
It's everything needs to start working. Like it was pretty complicated checking everything, but I'm pretty sure this is it. But I know this has to be wrong.
Why are you using this dot tab item dot select in your select functions down here?
I'm not sure though. Assign this to the associated tab using the get tab method by passing the correct data. Yeah, that's the only one that has me kind of confused. But like I said, I'm still working on it. If anyone has advice. Yeah, and I finished right here. So the same thing, except I select the associated tab right after that, and then the same thing for deselect.
Where did you get
that
that
one kind of
class?
seems straightforward. I'm just kind of like wondering why you're. Oh yeah, you probably have to select your tab item.
Max, where did you get that class list from?
Class list is it's built in JavaScript. So like
Yeah,
you use that to apply certain things. You can like look it up, and then they and it'll show you a little bit more about class list using classlist.add, classlist.remove. It's basically applying this class. So whenever we select it, it'll apply this class.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Russell, can you mute your mic?
Yeah, you really should mute your mic.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Russell, you muted and then talking. Pretty good.
All right, so who's got questions? I guess we should probably just start there, and maybe see who's gotten the furthest, and then have them answer them. That's what I'm thinking.
So has anyone actually got it working? Like, has anyone actually got the page responsive to clicks yet? No.
I think we're all pretty much in the same spot trying to get it.
I guess I was actually farther than I thought because I had some of that same stuff for tab item. I'm just having a hard time understanding sort of how the interaction nests through these classes, I suppose, like how these tabs methods are supposed to work. But I guess that's what we're all puzzling over at the moment.
Well, Russell said he got pretty far, so maybe we should ask him to explain things.
Yeah, Russell, unmute, please.
Yeah, he was working away all the time that Jonathan was giving us a walkthrough.
Yeah, now.
What do you have, Russell?
Yeah, it's time for you now.
Just give me a moment. I've almost got it.
Okay,
you can
flag
repeat
us
it
when
too.
you're ready. Just jump in.
All right.
Oh, that's in your tablet. Okay. Has anybody figured out what this dot tag item is going to actually be assigned to? Because that's where I'm stuck.
No idea.
No.
You mean this dot tab item under tab link in the tab link constructor?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's, you know, we're going to have to figure out how that get tab works in the tabs class is the question. I mean, at least that's what it says to use the parent's get tab method, which makes sense because you pass it.
Yeah, but that one could be just as simple as this dot tabs equals like parent.
Well, I assume it's like this dot tab item equals parent dot get tab something, like something passed into get tab. But that's where I'm not sure what it'll need to take because I haven't built get tab yet.
No, I understand. I'm kind of still at the same spot, actually.
Yeah, that was kind of what I assumed was going to
That's where I'm
happen.
stuck.
Was you'd use that get tab function and then pass either
That's
parent
what the comment seems to suggest.
and figure out what to pass into the get tab method.
Lo was talking about that in the beginning.
Yes,
I mean, the comment on get tab.
was talking about that, actually.
The comment on get tab is use the tab item class name and the data attribute to select the proper tab. So that data attribute, I think, must be that that's that like numerical tag, right? That's in the HTML.
I think so. That's what I was thinking it was.
So how's that being used together with the tab item class name?
Actually, you know what? I was just wondering if we could assign tab item to actually be new tab item, this dot tab item. Or if that works even.
I mean, even if it does work, it's kind of just spinning your wheels, right?
No, doesn't that go? I think you have to reassign it to tab item. That way you can actually pass it in. Because remember line 24? I think that's what that's supposed to do.
Oh, like a new, yeah, like it wraps it in a class.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the only question is I don't know what the line above it because I have no idea what it would be.
Passing it this dot tab.
Yeah, it's the assigning
New
this
tab
to
item,
the
this
associated tab using the get tab method.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right about line 24. It's line 23 and then sort of, you know, following from
yeah,
that.
line 23 I have got no idea. So if anybody has got that figured out, let me know.
Well, I think maybe we need to sort of, you know, not necessarily think about this in terms of building it from the top of this JavaScript file down to the bottom of the JavaScript file. I think we might need to kind of figure out how this tabs class is going to work before we can really come back to that and get that assignment to work correctly, because it's reliant. You know, the whole idea of the parent is that the parent of this tab link is one of the parameters that gets passed in for the constructor. So then it's available for the constructor to use those parent methods for that assignment. But that's definitely what it's asking us to do, is to use a method on the parent in order to get this characteristic of tab link. So we're going to have to figure out how that parent is structured.
Yeah.
How that particular method especially works, so we can figure out how to make that assignment work right.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well.
If nothing else, that's definitely a pretty specific
definitely
place
item
we can
number
point
one to figure out.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can very specifically ask Ivan. I'm sure he can give us a good explanation.
I think we should ask him that. I think he'll really know.
Yeah. What would this init be? Has anyone made any progress on like any of the other methods on tab?
The init is going to be on basically on the page load. It's going to automatically by default have the first tab as active.
Yeah, because it assigns this .active link to the 0 index.
I think what y'all were
Did you
just
call
talking
select
about.
on that?
I'm not sure, but let me just show y'all and see if anyone else has got this right here. This is what I'm doing for right here, but then this is all dependent on going back down to the methods down here that are going to have to be written out to work. But I think this might be what this tab link is looking for. But like I said, it depends on the item above and below it to be written out to be able to do anything. So there's no real way to test it.
Right.
Could you share your screen, please?
Did it not share?
Yeah,
It
we
wasn't
can't see the
sharing,
screen
no.
right now.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not
Can
yet.
anyone see it? Can y'all see my
Oh,
screen?
Not yet.
No, I'm just getting your, video feed. There you go.
Okay, now I
There
can see
you
your
go.
screen. Good.
Yes.
I think this is how to do this piece right here.
Whoa, you need to make that not blue anymore. I'm having a hard time reading it. Ah, yeah, that's pretty smart.
I think because you're passing it the individual element from the map down here and the parent.
Right,
And then
yeah.
you're just
That's
setting
actually
this-
what I was thinking as well.
This dot element to the element, this dot tabs is the parent, just doing really what it says to do here. And then for the tab item, you're saying you're taking the parent and say get tab using this dot tabs.
Right. I
And
think
you're
you could
going
probably
then
do
back
that.
down here and using this method based on that attribute that's on each one. It's just asking, is this number 1, number 2, and number 3? And once it
Right.
decides which tab it is, then
Yeah, you can just do like get dot tabs, I think. You might be able to do
Wow.
that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't understand how you're getting the capital T tabs property on the tab link object.
Yeah, class tabs. Line
What?
38.
what it,
Yeah,
But
but how
this
does it
right
end
here?
up on the how does the tab link object end up with the tabs value?
Yeah,
As
you're
one
going
of
to
the
have to explain that one.
okay, what let me turn my volume up a little bit. I'd turned it down. What are y'all not understanding? Or I don't know that this is right. I'm just saying maybe this is right. I think
Line
it is.
29. Yeah, your logic makes sense. The only question is, I think he was wondering.
Right here?
Yeah, that.
Okay, so you've passed the parent in as the parameter. The parent is the instance of the class tabs below that it was called on. You passed this into tab link. So now you have the parent and all the methods associated with it. So you can call this, you're calling this as the parent, and then the method associated with that parent on its prototype up here. You're just saying parent, which is the tabs, this instance of tabs that went up here, one of the 3 that goes up there, and you're calling get tab on it, and then based on that data attribute, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, it's deciding that down here and passing that up here. So now you're assigning this tab item.
So what exactly is the difference between this and if it said this dot parent? Because parent is
You can't say this dot parent because this is simply an argument being passed in as a parameter.
okay.
So we now have access to this, so we can call it on the right side over here. This is just setting properties for this tab link instance right here.
Mhm.
The parent is not a property of the tab link class.
No, it's just a piece of data that you passed in up here,
Okay.
being
Yeah.
the
Okay, I
node
see
from
what you're
down
saying
here
now.
that you passed in. And so you're using the parent get tab and you're sending it this dot tabs.
But that's a reference to a class that's outside of that local class. So it might not work.
Yeah, that's
What?
But you passed it.
that
the
was like
parent.
my question, but
Oh, hang on a second, guys. Are we going to make another recording or should I stop it here?
what?
Are we about to lose the time?
Yes.
I'll start one.
Well, it is 1:55, so
Yeah,
I can
we
get
gotta-
back on in a minute here.
Yeah,
right,
we
yeah,
can always
let's just
get
go to
back
the
onto
meeting.
like Ivan's and then basically ask him the questions we haven't figured out here.
Okay, thanks, Eileen.
And then if you guys want to do, if you guys still need more help after that, we could always do another one if you want.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
just
but
That's what I was
Thanks.
thinking. That way I don't like lose anybody's question in the middle.
Yes,
Right.
I kind of
Great.
understood a little bit. Thanks.